You're with Kronos. We don't just tell history, we take you there. Tonight, we step into a world that exists only in stone and bone. No cities, no writing, no metal, no borders. Just ice, wind, and the oldest footprints on a continent that has no name yet. 13,000 years ago, long before pyramids or empires, before agriculture or kings, small bands of people moved through landscapes we can barely imagine. They carried everything they owned. They read weather in the sky and animals in the dirt. They made fire with their hands and turned rock into blade with precision that still baffles us. This is not a story about civilization. This is a story about the people who came before civilization, the ones who crossed into an empty hemisphere and survived it. Tonight, you walk one full day with them. From the moment frost cracks on deerskin to the moment embers fade under stars that have no names. You will feel cold that bites through fur. You will hear stones split under antler. You will watch a child learn to track, a woman tan hide, a man shape the tool that will feed his family for a week. Here's the question that will guide this entire night. What does it take to be the first? Not the first to discover, but the first to stay? The answer is simpler and harder than you think. It takes patience, precision, memory passed through gesture, not word. It takes the ability to read a landscape that gives nothing easily and to move through it as though you were born from it. We begin at dawn, 13 millennia ago, somewhere in what will one day be called North America. But right now it is just land. Endless. Uncharted. Alive. Let's walk. Dawn comes slowly when you're this far north in early spring. The sky lightens from black to deep blue to a pale gray that makes the snow look purple. The air is cold enough that your first breath out of the sleeping firs feels like inhaling glass. You're lying under a lean-to made of mammoth hide stretched over wooden poles. The hide is old, passed down, repaired, carried for years. It smells like smoke and fat and the faint musk of the animal it came from. Beneath you, more hides, layered for insulation. Beneath those, cut boughs of spruce and fir, arranged to keep you off the frozen ground. Beside you, your family. A woman, 2 children, your mother. Everyone sleeps close. Heat is survival. Outside, the world is vast and silent. You are camped in a river valley, sheltered from the worst of the wind. To the west, mountains rise, jagged, white, impossibly high. Glaciers cling to their flanks, blue-white tongues of ice that have been retreating for 1,000 years but still dominate the horizon. To the east, open grassland stretches farther than you've ever walked. Somewhere in that grassland, bison, horse, camel, and if you're very lucky, mammoth. You sit up carefully so as not to wake the others. Your breath forms clouds that hang in the still air. Frost has formed on the inside of the hide walls overnight, tiny crystals catching the dim pre-dawn light. You reach for your outer garment, a long robe made from bison hide, fur turned inward, stitched with sinew so fine it's nearly invisible. The stitching was done by your mother's mother. Some of the seams have been restitched. Some of the patches are newer. One piece is elk hide, darker and softer, covering a tear from 2 winters ago. This robe is older than you are. You pull it on. Immediate warmth. Then boots, also bison hide, lined with rabbit fur, stuffed with dried grass for insulation. The grass needs to be changed every few days or it gets damp and useless. You make a mental note. Today, after the morning tasks, replace the grass. You crawl out of the lean-to. The cold hits you fully now. It's the kind of cold that makes your eyes water, that turns spit to ice before it hits the ground. But you've lived in this cold your entire life. You know it. You respect it. You don't fear it. The camp is arranged in a rough circle. 6 lean-tos, each housing a family unit. In the center, the fire pit. It's still smoldering. Someone fed it during the night. Keeping fire alive through the night is a collective responsibility. If it dies, relighting it is possible but time-consuming. Friction fire with a bow drill takes patience and dry tinder, and in early spring, dry anything is hard to find. You approach the fire. The coals glow faint orange beneath a layer of ash. You kneel, blow gently. The ash swirls away. The coals brighten. You add small twigs, dry willow, carefully stored under cover. The twigs catch. You add larger pieces. Birch bark, which burns fast and hot. Then pine, which burns slower. Then oak, which will burn long. Smoke rises, sharp and clean. You warm your hands. Around you, the camp begins to stir. A child coughs. A dog yawns. One of 3 dogs that travel with the group, lean and wolf-like, used for hauling and sometimes hunting. Someone else emerges from a lean-to, wrapped in furs, and joins you at the fire. No words yet. It's too cold to talk. You sit together, feeding the fire, waiting for the sun to clear the ridge to the east. When it does, the temperature will rise just enough to make movement easier. Until then you wait. Patience is survival. The sun finally breaches the ridge. Gold light floods the valley, horizontal and brilliant. Instantly the temperature feels different, still cold but no longer hostile. The camp comes fully alive. Children emerge, bundled so thoroughly only their eyes are visible. Dogs stretch and shake. Adults gather at the fire, turning slowly to warm all sides. Someone has placed a large stone near the coals. It will heat through and be used later to boil water in a hide-lined pit. Breakfast is simple. Dried meat, pounded thin and mixed with fat and berries, what will one day be called pemmican. It was made last autumn, when berries were abundant and animals fat. It tastes dense, slightly sweet, intensely caloric. You chew slowly. Your body is waking up. A woman approaches carrying a basket woven from willow. Inside, ice, collected from the frozen stream. She places it near the coals. In an hour, there will be water. You finish eating and turn to your tasks. Today, you need to check your tools, replace bindings, and prepare for the hunt that will happen this afternoon. You walk to the edge of camp where your gear is stored under a tarp of sewn hides. You kneel and begin sorting through it. First, your spear. The shaft is ash wood, straight and strong, about 7 feet long. The blade is stone, a Clovis point made from high-quality chert, carefully napped to achieve a specific shape. The point is roughly 4 inches long, leaf-shaped, with a distinctive flute running up the center of each face. That flute is what defines a Clovis point, what makes it recognizable across thousands of miles. This point was made by your father. He spent an entire day on it, working through several failed attempts before achieving this one perfect piece. He gave it to you when you made your first kill, a deer, 2 years ago. You were 14. You've carried it ever since. The point is hafted to the shaft with pine resin mixed with powdered charcoal, a glue that's hard as stone when cold. Over the resin, sinew is wrapped tightly, spiraling down in a pattern that distributes stress evenly. But sinew degrades. You inspect it carefully. The wrapping near the base is beginning to fray. Not enough to fail today, but it needs attention soon. Next, your atlatl. This is the tool that makes you dangerous. A spear thrower, a wooden shaft about 2 feet long with a handle at one end and a hook at the other. The hook fits into a notch at the base of your spear. When you throw, the atlatl extends your arm by 2 feet, adding leverage and velocity. A spear thrown by hand travels perhaps 40 yards. A spear thrown with an atlatl travels 80 yards or more and hits with enough force to pierce thick hide and break bone. You've been practicing since you were 8 years old. You're good. Not the best, your uncle is better, but good enough. Now, tool maintenance. You pull out a leather pouch and spread its contents on a flat stone. Hammerstones, smooth river cobbles for percussion flaking. Antler tines for pressure flaking, the fine work. The piece of leather to protect your hand. A chunk of red ochre for marking. You pick up a piece of raw chert, gray stone with a waxy luster, the size of your fist. You found it 3 weeks ago in a streambed. Good stone is always valuable. Chert fractures predictably, producing edges sharper than any metal blade humans will invent for thousands of years. You hold the chert in your left hand, wrapped in leather. You pick up a hammerstone with your right. You study the stone, reading its grain, its flaws. Every piece is different. You strike. The hammerstone connects at precisely the right angle. A flake detaches with a sharp crack. The edge left behind is sharper now. You rotate the chert and strike again. Another flake. Then another. The work is rhythmic. Strike, rotates. The pile of flakes at your feet grows. Each flake is sharp enough to cut. Some will be collected and used as small tools. Nothing is wasted. After 20 minutes, the rough form emerges. A blade, flat and leaf-shaped, about 3 inches long. Now comes the fine work. You set down the hammerstone and pick up an antler tine. You brace the blade against your thigh, position the tip against the edge and press firmly. A tiny flake detaches. You work along the entire edge, removing small flakes, creating an edge that's not just sharp but durable. This is the work your people have perfected over millennia. Not primitive, refined. Modern attempts to replicate Clovis points produce, at best, crude approximations. The skill required is immense. An hour passes. Around you, the camp is fully engaged. Children play near the stream, catching minnows. Two men work on a stretched hide, scraping away flesh and fat. Your mother sorts dried plants for medicine. A young woman repairs a basket, her fingers quick and sure. You finish the blade. It's beautiful. Symmetrical, sharp, balanced. You test it against your forearm. A few hairs come away, cut cleanly. Satisfied, you wrap it in soft leather. Good blades are valuable. They're traded, gifted, passed down. Stone lasts. Stone remembers. Mid-morning. The sun is fully up, the temperature approaching 40 degrees. Snow still clings to shadows, but in open areas, mud appears, black, sticky, mixed with last year's grass. This is the season of transition. Winter loosening its grip. New life starting. Buds on willows. Insects emerging. You heard geese this morning, their calls distant, passing overhead in a ragged V. The hunt will happen this afternoon. Scouts returned an hour ago. The bison herd is 6 miles up valley, moving slowly. 12 animals, mostly females and juveniles, 2 large bulls. The herd is near a narrow section where the stream bends close to a steep slope. Good position. If hunters approach from upwind and drive the herd toward the slope, escape routes will be limited. You gather with the other hunters, 7 men and 2 women, ages 16 to 50. Everyone has hunted before. Everyone has killed. But hunting megafauna is never routine. Bison are dangerous. A bull can gore you. A cow protecting a calf will charge. People die on hunts. The group spreads out near the fire. The hunt leader, your uncle, 45, with a scar from eye to jaw, begins to speak. His voice is low, calm. He describes the terrain, draws in the dirt with a stick. Stream, slope, herd position. He assigns roles. 3 hunters approach from the east, downwind. For position along the slope base, hidden. 2 remain in reserve. You're assigned to the slope. You wait, hidden, until the herd is driven toward you. Then you stand and throw. You'll have 2 spears. You'll aim for the largest cow. Not the bulls, too dangerous for your experience. The plan is reviewed 3 times. Everyone asks questions. Everyone offers suggestions. This is not hierarchy. This is survival through collective wisdom. The plan adjusts. Someone notes the wind might shift as the day warms. It often does here. The approach route changes slightly. Then spiritual preparation. Your uncle stands, walks to his lean-to, returns with a small bundle wrapped in hide. He unwraps it carefully. Inside, red ochre powder, a carved piece of mammoth ivory, a feather from a golden eagle. He kneels, draws symbols in the dirt. A circle. For lines radiating outward. A simple figure representing a bison. He speaks quietly. Not a prayer. Your people don't have gods in the way that will come later. But an acknowledgement. The bison gives its life so your people can live. That gift must be recognized. The animal's spirit must be honored. If you take without acknowledging, the animals will leave. The land will empty. This is not superstition. This is relationship. You are part of this landscape. The bison are part of it. The balance must be maintained. Each hunter steps forward, touches the ochre, marks their forehead with a single red line. You do the same. The powder is cool, slightly gritty. When everyone is marked, your uncle covers the symbols in the dirt, returns the bundle to his lean-to. The group disperses. The hunt begins in 4 hours. Until then, there's rest, food, preparation. You return to your lean-to, lie down on the furs. Sleep would be good, but your mind is too active. You think through the hunt. You visualize the throw, the moment when the herd turns, the instant when you rise, the precise motion of arm and otlotl, the spear's flight. You've done this 100 times in practice. Today it matters. Your mother enters the lean-to, sits beside you. She doesn't speak. She pulls out a small bone needle and a length of sinew and begins repairing a tear in one of the sleeping furs. Her hands move automatically, the stitches small and even. After a few minutes, she speaks. Her voice is quiet. Your father was your age when he killed his first bison. The throw was perfect. The animal died quickly. That night, he couldn't eat. He sat by the fire and cried. You look at her. She continues stitching. It's not weakness. It's recognition. When you take a life, something changes. You become responsible. Not just for the killing but for the using. Every part of that animal must serve. If you waste, you dishonor the gift. She ties off the sinew, bites it clean. You'll do well today. You're ready. She stands, touches your shoulder briefly and leaves. You lie there, staring at the hide ceiling. Outside, you hear the sounds of camp. Children laughing. Dogs barking. Someone chopping wood. Normal sounds. Comforting sounds. But underneath, tension. Everyone knows what's coming. Everyone understands the stakes. Early afternoon. The hunting party gathers. Everyone carries 2 spears, an atlatl, and a knife, a blade hafted to a short wooden handle, used for butchering. Some carry lengths of rope made from twisted plant fibers. Some carry leather sacks for carrying meat back to camp. You carry only the essentials. Speed and silence matter more than preparation. The group moves out, single file, following the stream up valley. Your uncle leads. The pace is steady but not fast. You have 6 miles to cover, and you need to arrive with energy to spare. The terrain is uneven, mud, snow patches, rocks slick with ice. You watch where you step. A twisted ankle ends the hunt for you. The valley narrows as you progress. The stream runs faster here, cutting through rock, creating small waterfalls. The sound of water is constant. On both sides, spruce trees climb the slopes, dense and dark. You see signs of animals everywhere. Elk droppings, still fresh. Wolf tracks in the mud. The scratched bark of a tree where a bear has marked territory. After an hour, your uncle raises a hand. The group stops. He points to the ground. Bison tracks, large, deep impressions in the soft earth. Recent. Within the last hour. The herd is close. From here, the approach must be careful. The group splits as planned. 3 hunters, including one of the women, move east, circling wide to approach from downwind. The rest of you continue up valley, staying close to the tree line, using rocks and bushes for cover. You move slowly now. Each step is deliberate. You test the ground before committing weight. You avoid stepping on dry branches. You control your breathing, keeping it slow and quiet. The wind is in your face, carrying your scent away from the herd. But after 30 minutes, you see them. The bison are in a meadow beside the stream, grazing on new grass. 12 animals as the scouts reported. 2 large bulls, their massive heads low to the ground. The rest are cows and juveniles. They're common aware. 1 calf nurses while its mother grazes. Another juvenile lies in the sun, chewing cud. Your uncle signals. The 4 of you assigned to the slope move into position, spreading out along the base of the rocky incline. You find a spot behind a large boulder, crouch low, wait. From here, you have a clear line to the meadow, about 60 yards away. Within range. The wait is long. Minutes stretch. You watch the bison. You watch the sky. Clouds are building to the west, but they're still far off. You watch a raven circling overhead, curious about the activity below. You listen to your own heartbeat, steady and strong. Then movement on the far side of the meadow. The 3 hunters appear, stepping out from the tree line. They don't charge. They walk steadily toward the herd, spreading out to create a line. The bison notice immediately. Heads lift. Bodies tense. For a moment, nothing happens. Then one of the bulls snorts, a loud explosive sound. The herd moves. Not panicked. Not yet. They trot away from the approaching hunters, angling toward the slope, toward you. The hunters follow, not running, just maintaining pressure. The herd's trot becomes a run. 12 massive animals, moving as one, hooves pounding the ground, creating a sound like distant thunder. Your uncle stands first, revealing himself. Then the others. Then you. The bison see you, hesitate for a critical instant. They're caught between 2 groups of humans. Confusion. The lead cow turns, tries to angle away, but there's no good path. The slope is too steep behind. The stream is too deep to the right. The herd bunches together. You raise your spear, fit the notch onto the atlatl hook. You choose your target, a large cow, no calf, slightly separated from the group. You step forward, draw your arm back, and throw. The motion is fluid. Years of practice compressed into 2 seconds. The atlatl extends your arm. Your wrist snaps forward. The spear releases, flies true. It covers 60 yards in an instant, strikes the cow just behind the shoulder, penetrates deep. The cow staggers, keeps running for a few steps, then slows. Blood appears, dark red, soaking the fur. Other spears are in the air. Not all hit. One misses entirely, skidding across the grass. One hits a juvenile but doesn't penetrate deeply. The angle was wrong. But 3 find their marks. 3 animals wounded. The herd scatters now, true panic, running in different directions. Your cow is slowing. She's lost. The spear hit the heart or lungs, maybe both. She tries to keep pace with the herd but can't. She separates, stumbles, falls to her knees. Her breathing is labored, loud, wet. You approach carefully, second spear ready. But it's not needed. She collapses onto her side, legs kicking once, twice, then still. You stand over her. The moment stretches. This animal weighed perhaps 1,200 pounds. She was alive 2 minutes ago. Now she's meat, hide, bone, sinew. Your mother's words return. You become responsible. Your uncle appears beside you. He kneels, places a hand on the cow's shoulder. Well thrown, he says quietly. Then he stands, calls out to the others. 3 down. Mark them and start the work. The butchering begins immediately. Time matters. The meat must be processed before scavengers arrive, wolves, bears, big cats, even ravens. Everything out here is hungry. Nothing will be left unclaimed for long. Your uncle makes the first cut. A knife drawn along the belly from sternum to pelvis, opening the body cavity. Steam rises. The internal temperature of the bison is over 100 degrees. The smell hits you, blood, stomach contents, bile. Not unpleasant. Familiar. This is the smell of life turned into food. Hands reach in, carefully removing organs. The heart comes first, large, still warm, set aside. The liver, dark and dense. The kidneys. These organs are valuable. Rich in nutrients, they'll be eaten soon, some even raw. The stomach and intestines are pulled out, set aside. Later, they'll be cleaned and used, stomach as a water container, intestines for binding and sausage casings. The hide must be removed carefully. Your uncle starts at the neck, cutting around, then working down. The hide is thick, heavy. It takes 2 people to pull it free as the knife separates it from the muscle beneath. Slowly the cow is skinned. The hide is folded fur side in and set aside. Now the real work. Meat must be carved from bone. The hindquarters first, massive slabs of muscle, dark red, marbled with fat. Each quarter is separated at the joint, set on the hide to keep it clean. Then the shoulders. Then the back straps, long muscles running along either side of the spine, considered the finest meat. Ribs are cracked open, exposing more organs. The tongue is cut out, another delicacy. Even the bones are valuable. The long bones will be cracked open later for marrow. The skull will be split for the brain, which is used in tanning hides. The hooves will be boiled down for glue. Everyone works. Even the children who stayed in camp have been summoned. They arrive, see the kills, and immediately join the effort. A 10-year-old girl helps scrape meat from ribs. A boy of 7 collects the best sinew from along the spine. Nothing is wasted. Nothing can be wasted. The work takes hours. 3 bison is an enormous amount of material. By the time the sun begins to descend toward the western peaks, the meadow is transformed. Where 3 living animals grazed this morning, now there are skeletons, piles of meat wrapped in hide, stacks of bones, and a great deal of blood soaking into the earth. You're exhausted. Your arms ache. Your hands are slick with fat and blood. But you're also satisfied. This is success. This is survival. These 3 animals will feed your band for weeks. The hides will make clothing and shelter. The bones will become tools. The sinew will bind 100 things. As the work nears completion, your uncle gathers everyone. He kneels beside the largest skeleton, the cow you killed. He takes red ochre from his pouch, marks the skull. He speaks quietly, thanking the animal for its life, acknowledging the gift. This is done every time. Boys. Then the hauling begins. The meat is too heavy to carry everything at once. It will take multiple trips. The strongest adults load up first, carrying hindquarters that weigh 70 pounds or more. You take a shoulder section, wrapping it in hide and hoisting it onto your back. The weight is substantial but manageable. The return journey is slower. You're loaded down, tired, and the light is fading. But there's also satisfaction in the weight on your back. This is food. This is life. By the time you reach camp, full darkness has fallen. The fire is blazing, others stayed behind to build it up, prepare for the feast that always follows a successful hunt. You drop your load near the fire, stretch your back, sit heavily on a log. Someone hands you water. You drink deeply. The meat is arranged, inspected, divided. Some will be eaten tonight. Some will be dried into jerky over the next several days. Some will be cooked and then stored in the cold, which is still reliable this time of year. Some will be rendered into fat, mixed with berries, turned into pemmican for the next journey. The heart of your cow is placed over the fire, spitted on a green stick. It cooks quickly, the outside charring while the inside remains tender. When it's ready, your uncle cuts pieces for everyone. You receive a portion. The hunter who made the kill always eats first. The meat is rich, dense, almost sweet. You chew slowly, savoring. Around the fire, people begin to relax. The tension of the hunt is gone, replaced by satisfaction and relief. Someone begins a song, low, rhythmic, wordless. Others join. The song isn't about anything specific. It's just sound, human sound, filling the night. Children fall asleep against their parents. Dogs gnaw on bones near the fire's edge. The stars emerge, impossibly bright, spread across a sky that holds no light pollution, no cities, no sign of the civilizations that will one day rise. You sit and watch the fire. Your thoughts are quiet. Tomorrow, there will be more work. Drying meat, scraping hides, repairing tools. But tonight, there's rest. There's food. There's warmth. There's the sound of your people singing into the darkness. This is what it takes to be first. Not conquest. Not dominance. But attention. Patience. Respect for the land and what it provides. The ability to turn stone into blade and throw that blade with enough precision to bring down an animal 10 times your weight. The willingness to work for hours under the sun, covered in blood, knowing that every piece of that animal is a gift. The fire burns. The stars turn. The night deepens. And somewhere in the vast darkness beyond the circle of firelight, the land stretches on, endless, ancient, waiting for the footsteps of the ones who will stay. The fire has burned low. The singing has stopped. Most of the camp is asleep, bodies wrapped in furs, breathing slow and steady. A few remain awake, tending the fire, ensuring it doesn't die. You sit alone looking at the stars. These are the same stars humans have watched for hundreds of thousands of years, from Africa to Asia to this new hemisphere. The patterns are the same. But here, in this place, no one has named them yet. No stories are attached. They're just light, distant and cold and beautiful. You think about the cow. The throw. The moment when the spear left your hand and you knew, before it even struck, that the throw was true. That moment of certainty. It's a feeling you'll carry for the rest of your life. These people, your people, left almost nothing behind. No temples. No palaces. No cities. Just stone points buried in mud, charcoal stains in ancient hearths, bone tools scattered across a continent. But they were not primitive. They were experts. Every flake of stone was removed with intention. Every sinew stripped and saved. Every camp chosen for wind, water, and line of sight. They survived because they noticed everything and forgot nothing. They spread across 2 continents faster than any migration in human prehistory. Not through conquest. Through adaptation. They learned the animals, the seasons, the plants. They became part of the landscape instead of trying to dominate it. And they endured. Their descendants became the thousands of cultures that flourished here for 12,000 years. The Clovis people themselves faded from the archaeological record within a few centuries, but they didn't vanish. They transformed. They evolved. They became the foundation of everything that followed. Tonight you walked with them. You felt the cold. You heard the stones split. You watched the spear fly. You stood beside the fire and shared meat with people whose names are lost but whose presence still echoes. The thread runs from them to now. Unbroken. Undeniable. We are all descended from people who survived impossible odds, who crossed into unknown lands, who learned to thrive where nothing was given easily. The fire crackles. The stars turn. The night holds you. If this journey brought you peace, clarity, or rest, leave your like. It helps Chronos continue traveling through lost worlds. Subscribe to walk with us again. This is Chronos. We don't just tell history, we take you there.